Ladies and gentlemen, as we step into 2025, I want to share a message of hope, renewal, and divine timing. A message centered on the idea that God is in the business of restoring our wasted years. Perhaps you've looked back on your life and seen seasons of loss, stagnation, or mistakes that seem to rob you of time. But I am here to remind you that what feels wasted to you is never wasted to God. Restoration is not merely about replacing what was lost, it is about creating something even greater in its place. The process begins when we open our eyes to the signs of divine renewal. These signs are not always loud or dramatic. Often they are quiet whispers of transformation that ripple through our lives. Life is a journey filled with moments of joy, sorrow, success, and failure. Along the way, we may encounter seasons that feel wasted, years consumed by wrong decisions, unforeseen setbacks, or painful losses. These seasons can weigh heavily on us, leaving us questioning if the time we've lost can ever be recovered. Yet within the human spirit lies a quiet hope, a belief that restoration is possible. This is the promise of restoration, the assurance that no experience, no matter how difficult or broken, is beyond redemption. The restoration begins with understanding that what feels lost to us is never truly lost in the grander scheme of life. Time, as we perceive it, is linear and finite. When we look back, the years that seem wasted are marked by regret and missed opportunities. But from a higher perspective, time is not just about what is past. It's also about the present moment and the infinite potential that lies ahead. Every experience we endure shapes us, and every lesson learned prepares us for the seasons yet to come. What seems like wasted time may in fact be the groundwork for transformation. The promise of restoration is rooted in the belief that life is not random or meaningless. There is an underlying order, even in chaos, and a greater purpose that often becomes clear only in hindsight. Consider the broken pieces of a mosaic. Each fragment on its own may appear insignificant or damaged. Yet when placed together by a master artist, they create something beautiful and whole. Similarly, the broken seasons of our lives, those filled with pain, failure, or loss, can be woven together into a masterpiece when we trust in the process of restoration. Restoration is not merely about replacing what was lost. It is about renewal and growth. It is about becoming more than we were before. Imagine a tree that has weathered a harsh winter. Its branches may be bare, its growth seemingly stunted, yet beneath the surface, the roots are deepening, drawing nourishment from the soil. When spring arrives, the tree doesn't simply regain what it lost. It flourishes with new leaves, stronger branches, and vibrant blossoms. Similarly, restoration in our lives often brings back more than we thought possible. The lost years become fertile ground for new opportunities, deeper relationships, and profound wisdom. But restoration is a process, not an event. It requires patience, faith, and openness to change. Too often, we want instant results. We want the pain to end and the losses to be replaced immediately. Yet, just as it takes time for a seed to grow into a tree, restoration unfolds in its own time. This process can be difficult because it often challenges us to let go of our regrets and embrace a new perspective. Holding on to the past can hinder restoration. It is only when we release the weight of what could have been that we create space for what is yet to come. An essential part of restoration is recognizing its signs as they begin to appear in our lives. These signs may be subtle, a renewed sense of purpose, an unexpected opportunity, or a moment of clarity, but they signal that something is shifting. Often these signs are accompanied by an inner transformation. We may find ourselves growing in resilience, forgiveness, and gratitude. The experiences that once seemed like failures begin to reveal their hidden lessons, and the pain that once felt unbearable starts to soften into wisdom. Restoration also invites us to partner in the process. It calls us to act in faith, to take steps toward healing and growth even when we cannot see the full picture. This might mean pursuing a new goal, mending a broken relationship, or simply choosing to believe that better days are ahead. Restoration is not about passivity. It is about aligning ourselves with the possibility of renewal and being willing to participate in the unfolding of that promise. Ultimately, the promise of restoration reminds us that life is not defined by what we have lost, but by what we do with what remains. It is an invitation to trust that every moment, even those marked by pain or regret, has a purpose. The years we perceive as wasted can become the foundation for a brighter, fuller future. Through restoration, we are reminded that we are not defined by our mistakes or circumstances, but by our capacity to rise, rebuild, and embrace the beauty of life's ever-unfolding story. Restoration is the hope that whispers, "It's not over." It is the assurance that even in the face of brokenness, there is a possibility for renewal. It calls us to look beyond what was lost and to focus on what can still be gained. The promise of restoration is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the profound potential for transformation that exists within each of us. It is the realization that nothing in life is wasted, not the time, not the pain, and certainly not the lessons we carry forward. Instead, everything is being woven together into a greater purpose, reminding us that restoration is not just possible, it is inevitable. Time is a paradoxical force in our lives, both fleeting and infinite, both healer and challenger. It moves forward relentlessly, yet within its passage lies an extraordinary power, the ability to heal. The healing power of time is not about erasing what has happened or pretending that pain never existed. Rather, it is about the subtle, transformative work that occurs within us as days turn into weeks and weeks into years. Time allows wounds to mend, perspectives to shift, and the burdens of the past to gradually lighten. When we experience pain, loss, or disappointment, the initial impact can feel overwhelming. It's as if the world has stopped and the weight of the moment presses heavily on our hearts. In those moments, the idea of healing can feel distant, almost impossible. But as time moves forward, something remarkable begins to happen. Slowly, imperceptibly, the rawness of our emotions starts to soften. The edges of our grief become less sharp, and the ache in our hearts transforms into something more manageable. This is not to say that time erases pain. It doesn't. Instead, it gives us the space to adjust, to adapt, and to grow around our experiences. One of the most profound ways time heals is by granting us perspective. In the immediacy of pain, our focus narrows, and we can become consumed by the intensity of the moment. But as time passes, our perspective widens. We begin to see our experiences not as isolated events, but as part of a larger story. We start to understand that pain and joy, struggle and triumph are all interconnected threads in the tapestry of our lives. This broader perspective helps us to make sense of our experiences, to find meaning in what once seemed meaningless, and to see beauty even in the midst of brokenness. Time also teaches us resilience. As we move forward, we discover an inner strength we may not have known we possessed. Each day that we endure, each challenge we face, adds to our capacity to navigate life's complexities. Over time, we realize that we are not defined by our pain, but by our ability to rise from it. The scars we carry become symbols of our survival, reminders that we have faced difficulty and emerged stronger. Another aspect of the healing power of time lies in its ability to bring change. Life is not static. It is constantly evolving. The people, circumstances, and environments that surround us are in a state of perpetual flux. As time passes, new opportunities arise, new relationships are formed, and new paths open before us. These changes can be catalysts for healing, offering us fresh perspectives and new beginnings. The person who was once a source of pain may no longer occupy the same space in our lives. The job we lost may lead us to a more fulfilling career. The loss we mourn may teach us to cherish the present moment more deeply. Time also nurtures forgiveness, both for others and for ourselves. In the heat of hurt or anger, forgiveness can feel impossible. But as time unfolds, emotions cool and clarity emerges. We begin to see others and ourselves with greater compassion. We come to understand that holding on to resentment only prolongs our suffering, and that forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing, but about freeing ourselves from the grip of bitterness. Time allows us to let go, to release the weight of the past, and to move forward with a lighter heart. The healing power of time is also evident in the way it allows us to rediscover joy. After a period of pain or loss, joy can feel out of reach, as if it belongs to another world entirely. But as time progresses, we find moments of happiness creeping back into our lives, a laugh shared with a friend, the beauty of a sunset, the comfort of a familiar routine. These moments remind us that joy and sorrow can coexist, and that even in the darkest seasons, light can find its way through. While time is a powerful healer, it does not work in isolation. Healing requires our participation. We must be willing to face our pain, to process our emotions, and to take steps toward growth. Time provides the canvas, but we must be the ones to paint the picture. It asks us to be patient, to trust in the process, and to allow ourselves the grace to heal at our own pace. Ultimately, the healing power of time is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It reminds us that no matter how deep the wound, no matter how profound the loss, there is always the potential for renewal. Time does not erase the past, but it helps us to carry it differently, with greater wisdom and compassion. It transforms our pain into strength, our grief into gratitude, and our scars into stories of survival. In its steady, unyielding march, time offers us the greatest gift of all, the chance to begin again. Renewal is a subtle yet profound process, often arriving quietly and gradually without fanfare or dramatic shifts. It is the rebirth of hope, purpose, and energy after a season of struggle or stagnation. When signs of renewal begin to appear in our lives, they are gentle reminders that change is underway, that something within us and around us is shifting toward growth and restoration. These signs are not always obvious, but with an open heart and a willing spirit, we can recognize them and align ourselves with their transformative power. One of the earliest signs of renewal is a sense of possibility, where there was once despair or apathy. After enduring a period of difficulty, it's common to feel as though the future holds little promise. But renewal begins with a small spark, a fleeting idea, a new opportunity, or a moment of inspiration. It may not seem significant at first, but this spark is the seed of change. It reminds us that life is not static, and that no matter how challenging our circumstances may seem, there is always room for growth and improvement. Another sign of renewal is a shift in perspective. During times of hardship, our view of the world can become narrow and clouded by negativity. Renewal begins to take hold when we start to see things differently. This shift might be as simple as appreciating a sunrise after a sleepless night, or finding gratitude in small, everyday moments. It might involve reframing a past failure as a valuable lesson, or recognizing the strength we've gained through adversity. When our perspective begins to shift, it signals that our inner world is healing and expanding, making space for new possibilities. Renewal often manifests through renewed energy and motivation. After a period of stagnation, it can feel as though life has drained us of all vitality. But as renewal takes root, we find ourselves with a growing desire to engage with life again. This might mean taking on a new project, pursuing a long-held dream, or simply feeling excited about the day ahead. The return of energy is a powerful indicator that we are moving out of survival mode and into a space where we can thrive. Relationships can also be a key sign of renewal. During challenging times, we may feel isolated or disconnected from those around us. Renewal often brings with it a sense of reconnection, either with others or with ourselves. This might involve mending a strained relationship, forming new and meaningful connections, or simply finding joy in the company of loved ones. As we reconnect, we begin to feel a sense of belonging and support, which further fuels the process of renewal. Another sign of renewal is a newfound clarity about our goals and priorities. During seasons of struggle, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Renewal helps us rediscover our sense of purpose. We begin to identify what is meaningful and what we are willing to let go of. This clarity acts as a guiding light, helping us make decisions that align with our values and vision for the future. It brings a sense of direction and focus, making the path ahead feel less daunting. Physical signs can also accompany renewal. Our bodies are deeply connected to our emotional and mental states. And as renewal unfolds, we may notice improvements in our physical well-being. This might include sleeping more peacefully, feeling less tension in our muscles, or experiencing an increased appetite for nutritious foods. While these changes may seem minor, they are powerful indicators that our entire being is aligning with the process of renewal. Perhaps the most profound sign of renewal is a sense of peace that begins to settle within us. After a period of inner turmoil, peace may feel foreign or elusive, but as renewal progresses, we start to experience moments of calm, a quiet assurance that despite life's challenges, we are exactly where we need to be. This peace is not the absence of difficulty, but a recognition of our ability to navigate it. It is a deep trust in the process of life, and an understanding that growth often comes from the most unlikely places. Recognizing the signs of renewal requires mindfulness and patience. Often these signs are subtle and easy to overlook amidst the noise of daily life. But when we slow down and pay attention, we can begin to notice the gentle ways in which life is inviting us to grow and transform. Renewal is not about a single moment of change, but about a series of small, cumulative shifts that lead us toward greater wholeness. Ultimately, the signs of renewal remind us that life is cyclical. Just as winter gives way to spring, our own seasons of difficulty and loss make way for renewal and growth. These signs are whispers of hope, urging us to trust in the process of life and to believe in the possibility of transformation. They remind us that no matter how long or harsh the winter, renewal is always waiting to bloom, bringing with it the promise of a brighter and more fulfilling future. Sometimes that promise is true, and we must allow it to flourish. Sometimes that promise is true, and regret is one of the heaviest burdens we carry. It clings to us, pulling us back into the past, where moments of disappointment, poor choices, or missed opportunities play on a loop in our minds. The weight of regret can feel paralyzing, trapping us in cycles of self-recrimination and what-ifs. Yet to truly move forward in life, we must learn to let go of regret. Letting go is not about forgetting the past or pretending it didn't happen. It's about releasing its hold on us so that we can embrace the present and the future with clarity and purpose. The first step in letting go of regret is acknowledgement. Too often, we bury our regrets beneath layers of distraction, denial, or busyness, hoping they will disappear. But unresolved regret festers, showing up as anxiety, self-doubt, or even physical discomfort. To let go, we must first confront our regrets honestly and without judgment. This involves taking the time to identify what we regret and why it continues to haunt us. It may be a decision we made, a path we didn't take, or a moment when we failed to act. Acknowledging regret means holding it up to the light and giving ourselves permission to feel the emotions attached to it: sadness, guilt, anger, or disappointment. Once we've acknowledged our regret, the next step is to accept that the past cannot be changed. This truth is simple yet profound. What's done is done. No amount of wishing, replaying scenarios in our minds, or second guessing can alter what has already occurred. Acceptance doesn't mean we condone our mistakes or the actions of others. It means we stop fighting against reality. Otherwise, we don't have the power to do much about it, and it's an act of surrender, a recognition that the energy we expend lamenting the past would be better spent creating a better future. Acceptance frees us from the exhausting cycle of trying to rewrite history. An essential part of letting go of regret is self-compassion. Regret often stems from our tendency to judge ourselves harshly. We look back at our past selves and wonder how we could have made such mistakes or missed such opportunities. But it's important to remember that we are not the same people we were then. Growth is a natural part of life, and with growth comes the wisdom to see our past actions in a new light. Self-compassion means treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a friend. It means recognizing that mistakes are a universal part of the human experience and that we are not defined by our worst moments. Learning from regret is another critical step in the process of letting go. While we cannot change the past, we can extract valuable lessons from it. Regret often points us toward areas where we can grow or do better in the future. Perhaps a regret about a failed relationship teaches us the importance of communication and vulnerability. A regret about a missed career opportunity might inspire us to take bold action the next time. By reframing regret as a teacher rather than a tormentor, we can transform it into a source of wisdom and strength. This shift in perspective allows us to see the past not as a series of failures, but as a foundation for growth. Forgiveness is also a key element of releasing regret. Sometimes regret is tied to the actions of others, moments when someone hurt us or let us down. In these cases, letting go requires us to forgive, not for their sake, but for our own. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior. It's about freeing ourselves from the grip of bitterness and resentment. Similarly, we must forgive ourselves for the mistakes we've made. Holding on to self-blame only prolongs our suffering and keeps us tethered to the past. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, a declaration that we will no longer allow regret to dictate our lives. Letting go of regret also involves focusing on the present moment. Regret lives in the past, and dwelling on it keeps us from fully engaging with the here and now. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or journaling, can help us stay grounded in the present. By shifting our attention to what we can do today, we reclaim our power and begin to create a life that reflects our values and aspirations. The present is where change happens, and it is where we can begin to build a future unburdened by regret. Ultimately, letting go of regret is an act of courage and self-liberation. It requires us to face our pain, accept our imperfections, and trust in our capacity to grow. It asks us to release the past so that we can step into the fullness of our lives with open hearts and minds. Regret may shape us, but it does not have to define us. When we let go of its weight, we discover the freedom to embrace life's possibilities and to write a new story, one of resilience, hope, and renewal. Faith is one of the most powerful forces in human life. It transcends logic and reasoning, providing strength and guidance when circumstances seem overwhelming or uncertain. Faith is not confined to religious belief, though it often finds expression there. Instead, it is a deeply personal trust in something greater than oneself, whether that is a higher power, the order of the universe, or the potential for good to emerge from adversity. The role of faith in our lives is profound, shaping how we perceive challenges, respond to setbacks, and find meaning in our experiences. At its core, faith is the foundation of hope. It is the belief that no matter how dark the present may seem, a brighter future is possible. Faith sustains us during moments of despair, offering assurance that the trials we face are temporary and purposeful. Without faith, it can be difficult to summon the strength to keep moving forward when the path ahead is unclear. Faith tells us that there is a reason to endure, even when evidence of that reason has not yet appeared. And it is a light in the darkness, a reminder that we are not alone and that life holds possibilities we have yet to see. Faith also provides a sense of stability in an ever-changing world. Life is full of uncertainties, and no one is immune to the unexpected twists and turns it brings. In the face of uncertainty, faith acts as an anchor, grounding us in a belief that there is a greater plan or purpose behind the chaos. This grounding gives us the courage to navigate unknown territory, trusting that we have the strength and resources to face whatever lies ahead. Faith allows us to find calm amidst the storm, not because we know what will happen, but because we trust that we will be able to endure and grow through it. One of the most remarkable roles of faith is its ability to foster resilience. Life's challenges can be daunting, and without faith, it is easy to become discouraged or defeated. But faith inspires a determination to persevere, to keep striving even when success seems improbable. It instills a belief that setbacks are not permanent and that every failure carries the seed of a lesson or opportunity. Faith reminds us that our struggles do not define us. Instead, they refine us. By holding on to faith, we build the resilience needed to turn obstacles into stepping stones and emerge stronger from adversity. Faith also plays a crucial role in relationships, both with others and with ourselves. It invites us to trust in the goodness of people, even when that trust has been tested. Faith encourages forgiveness and understanding, fostering deeper connections and healing wounds that might otherwise linger. It teaches us to believe in our own potential, even when self-doubt threatens to take hold. With faith, we can see beyond our current limitations, recognizing the possibilities for growth and transformation that lie within us. Faith in others and in ourselves nurtures compassion, patience, and a sense of community. Another vital role of faith is its ability to provide meaning and purpose. In times of difficulty, it is natural to question why certain events happen or what their significance might be. Faith helps us to see our experiences, both joyful and painful, as part of a larger story. It allows us to frame our struggles as opportunities for growth and our triumphs as gifts to be cherished. By connecting our individual lives to something greater, faith gives us a sense of purpose that sustains us even in the face of hardship. It reminds us that our actions matter and that our journey is part of a larger narrative that extends beyond ourselves. Faith is also transformative. It has the power to change how we perceive the world and our place in it. When we approach life with faith, we begin to see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and uncertainties as openings for new possibilities. This transformation doesn't come from external circumstances, but from within. Faith shifts our mindset, enabling us to approach life with courage, optimism, and an open heart. It allows us to act with intention and integrity even when the outcome is uncertain, because we trust in the process and the unfolding of life. And then the third P is preparation. Finally, faith fosters gratitude. By trusting in the goodness and purpose of life, we become more attuned to the blessings that surround us, even in difficult times. Faith teaches us to recognize the beauty in small moments, to appreciate the support of loved ones, and to find joy in the simple act of being alive. Gratitude, in turn, reinforces faith, creating a cycle that sustains and uplifts us. In essence, faith is the thread that weaves through every aspect of life, connecting us to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. It is a source of strength, resilience, and hope, enabling us to face life's uncertainties with courage and grace. Faith does not eliminate challenges, but it transforms how we approach them, allowing us to find meaning and purpose in every experience. Through faith, we are reminded that life is not a series of random events, but a journey rich with potential for growth, connection, and fulfillment. Life is a journey marked by moments of triumph and joy, but also by pain, loss, and brokenness. At times, the weight of our struggles can leave us feeling fractured, as though the pieces of who we are no longer fit together. Brokenness is a universal experience, one that comes in many forms: grief over a loss, disappointment in a dream deferred, or the shattering of trust in a relationship. Yet, within the very heart of brokenness lies the potential for transformation. Moving from brokenness to wholeness is not about erasing pain or pretending it never happened. It is about embracing the journey of healing, rediscovery, and becoming. The first step toward wholeness is acknowledgement. It can be tempting to ignore or suppress the feelings that come with being broken, to numb the pain or distract ourselves with external pursuits. But healing cannot begin until we face our brokenness with honesty and courage. Acknowledging that we are hurt, lost, or struggling does not make us weak. It makes us human. It opens the door to self-awareness, allowing us to name the pain and begin to understand its source. This process of recognition is not about dwelling on the wounds, but about creating space for healing to take root. Once we have acknowledged our brokenness, the next step is acceptance. Acceptance is not about resignation or giving up hope for something better. It is about making peace with the reality of what has happened and letting go of the desire to rewrite the past. This can be one of the hardest steps, as it often involves releasing the what-ifs and if-onlys that keep us tethered to our pain. Acceptance allows us to stop resisting what is and to start focusing on what can be. It frees us from the grip of denial and opens the path to growth. Healing from brokenness often requires us to confront our vulnerabilities. The process of becoming whole again is not linear, and it is rarely easy. It involves looking inward, sometimes at parts of ourselves we'd rather ignore. Vulnerability, however, is not a weakness. It is a strength. It allows us to connect with ourselves and others on a deeper level. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we begin to understand that brokenness is not something to be ashamed of. It is a natural part of life, a reflection of our capacity to love, to care, and to dream. Through vulnerability, we learn to extend compassion to ourselves and to see our pain as a part of our humanity. Another key element in moving from brokenness to wholeness is forgiveness. Often our brokenness is tied to feelings of anger, resentment, or guilt directed at others or ourselves. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful actions or denying the hurt we've experienced. It is about releasing the hold that those emotions have over us. Forgiving others allows us to move forward without carrying the weight of bitterness. Forgiving ourselves is equally important, as it enables us to let go of self-blame and embrace the possibility of growth. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, freeing us to heal and to create a new narrative for our lives. The journey to wholeness also involves rediscovering purpose and meaning. Brokenness can leave us feeling disconnected, as though the pieces of our lives no longer make sense. But within the fragments, there is an opportunity to rebuild, to create something new and meaningful. This process often begins with small steps, pursuing a passion, setting a goal, or finding ways to help others. Purpose gives us a sense of direction, a reason to keep moving forward even when the path is uncertain. It reminds us that our pain does not define us and that we have the power to create a life that reflects our values and aspirations. Connection plays a vital role in the process of becoming whole. Brokenness can isolate us, making us feel as though we are alone in our struggles. Yet reaching out to others, whether through friendships, community, or professional support, can be profoundly healing. Sharing our stories and listening to the stories of others reminds us that we are not alone. It creates a sense of belonging and mutual understanding, fostering the kind of support that helps us navigate the journey from brokenness to wholeness. Ultimately, moving from brokenness to wholeness is a journey of transformation. It is not about returning to who we were before, but about becoming a fuller, more authentic version of ourselves. The scars we carry are not signs of weakness, but symbols of resilience, reminders that we have faced adversity and found a way through it. Wholeness is not perfection. It is the integration of all that we are, our strengths and vulnerabilities, our joys and sorrows. It is the realization that our brokenness has shaped us in profound ways, making us more empathetic, more courageous, and more connected. From brokenness to wholeness is a path marked by struggle, but it is also rich with beauty and hope. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the infinite capacity for growth and renewal. As we embrace this journey, we discover that even in our most fractured moments, we are capable of extraordinary healing and transformation. In the process of the journey, we are tested and we recruit the skills we need for the upcoming challenges in life. We are reminded that the process of becoming whole is not about erasing the past, but about weaving it into the fabric of a life lived with purpose, meaning, and love.